Hello everyone and welcome back to Rob's Gaming Table. Today on the table we have a special video for you. This time we have some more spoilers from an upcoming expansion, the Lions of Casterly Rock. Thanks to the nice people at Fantasy Flight Games for sending those over. And on this one, to discuss it with me, I've brought on my senior Lions of Casterly Rock analyst, Kevin Austin.
Hello.
I'm supposed to be correspondent. But hey Kevin, why don't you read the first one for us and give us your thoughts on it?
Sure. Here we have Sir Lancel Lannister. He's a 2-gold non-loyal Lannister character with a military and intrigue icon. He has a whopping 0 strength. He has the Knight and Lord traits, and he has the ability, while you control exactly one other Lannister Lord or Lady character, Sir Lancel Lannister gets plus X strength. X is that character's strength. So he's interesting, a little nugget there. So obviously the best lords to keep with him are a Tywin with lots of gold or a Gregor, but he works well with the mid-range lords like the original Jaime or the new Cersei and new Tyrion. What do you think, Rob?
Well, I do like him for that, like just when he's on the board with one of those lord or ladies, but when I was thinking of the Lannister decks I build and I saw this exactly one other lord or lady from Lannister has to be on the board to give this guy any kind of strength, I just thought he was garbage and didn't think I would ever play him. But then you mentioned something about these clansman decks, this other trait that's coming out for Lannister.
Yes.
You might not have as many lord or ladies in that deck, so
yeah. So you'll definitely have one of the Tyrions. If you're working around the clansmen, you probably go with the one that came out in this box. And then if you have maybe one or two other Lannister lords or ladies in the deck, you should be able to get Lancel to work.
Yeah, I thought he was really situational, and it would never kind of happen. But he is only a 2-coster, so I mean, you put one copy, maybe two.
Yeah.
And if you see him, you don't have to play him. But I mean, if you put him out there, he just maybe becomes military claim, or if something were to happen to one of your 2 lords and or ladies on the board, and then you go down to 1 lord on the board, like a Dracarys happens or a Marched happens or something. I'm sure you'd march this guy over that other character, but something could happen. You lose that character, and you're down to 1 lord and this guy, and then this guy would turn back on. But I still think this guy would be great, even in a current Lannister deck like we're building now with lots of lords and ladies. Just think of that first turn or two. You may only get 1 lord or lady out on the board. He is 2 cost, so he's great for setup. So if you see him early, he could be, nice in the early game to give you another quote-unquote big strength character on the board, to give you that, pressure and that body presence to like outrace your opponent. And then, yeah, as you play your future lords and ladies, he does shut off. But I mean, for that first couple turns, he can help, prevent that put to the sword being done against you, or winning that intrigue challenge to block the Tears of Liz. Those like plays that happen early in the game that can sometimes really, snowball it for your opponent. This guy can help you maybe do the snowballing early in the game, but maybe late game he isn't so great in those type of decks. But
yeah, but you make a good point that if you have 2 lords or ladies, then he's kind of a backup that if something's out of your control and one of them gets taken off the board, then he's a good, like, it's not a deterrent exactly, but it's a good consolation prize to have a 4 or 5 strength Lancel as a backup.
Exactly. And like worst case, he's military claim, right? Another thing I want to say is it's kind of silly, but it is something. It's a reason we put like 1 copy of Tickler in decks. Is he's a unique Lannister, so he's non-loyal in a banner or even in a main house Lannister. He's just another card you might have on the board that can help treacheries go off.
Like,
to make sure you can actually play that event.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think he's great for is, I remember when I used to build the Lannister Rose decks back in the day, and I was tweaking it after Mare and Heat came out. This guy would be an amazing target for Mare and Heat.
That's very true.
Amazing.
Yeah, get out of here, Arbor Knight.
Yeah, Arbor Knights were great for that, but this guy, man, he's 0 strength, so anything bigger than 0 you can knock out of the challenge. And yeah, he does help you though. Like, you can do 0 strength challenges, right?
Yep.
So he does work in the whole Lords of the Crossing thing. I mean, he's another character. I mean, it's 2 costs. Just, you can lower your curve a bit and throw another little 2-cost character in there to help you get that other challenge off, I guess. But I don't know.
And on the 3rd challenge, he would get +2 regardless.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. One other thing to point out is it doesn't say X is that character's printed strength. So if he was on the 3rd challenge in a crossing deck, he would essentially get +4.
Oh God, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I think in a banner deck he's not bad either. Because
Well,
in a
but
banner deck, you might have less lords or ladies from Lannister, maybe with some of the future characters coming out. You just don't have like as many as a main house Lannister deck right now. Like I see people banner like Gregor, Jaime, and Tyrion maybe, or sometimes not even Jaime, but maybe you only have one out on the. You just have a less chance of having that lord or lady on the board. So this guy might still get buffed by that, right?
right,
Like,
yeah, it's just a much lower chance in a minimum banner.
yeah, true.
Maybe just a one of, but yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that like there's like if you're not playing most of the lords and ladies from Lannister because you're bannering, but I guess you would still kind of play some of them, but it's just less.
Yeah.
How does this guy compare to other 2-cost Lannister characters? What would make you put this guy in over them, if at all?
So he has the same icons as Red Cloaks and the Tickler. So basically, it would just be if you had a build that where he fit in well, where he would often have his ability turned on, I would say.
Yeah. What about so we know about Aliyah, yeah, or however you say it.
Aliyaya, I'll say.
Aliyah.
I'm pretty sure that's phonetically how it is.
It probably
yeah,
is.
she's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. She's 2 for 2 strength as well. I'm just double checking. Yeah. So she's she's a good character as well. Just fits in different spots.
Yeah, it's another unique little Lannister chud you might just include one of, but like those spots are tight. Like you might include your burn men. Like you're gonna have to start taking down your amount of burn men. Maybe you're not playing red cloaks.
Well, I wouldn't take down your burn men, but yeah, Red Cloaks I'd hit first.
Yeah, it's just like I think that spot is what I'm trying to get at. Is that 2-cost slot? Even just Lannister characters, not looking at neutral wildling 2-costers, even ones that are coming out, and ones we have. It's a tight slot. So this guy like. I think he's very situational, and it's like he fits. It's going to be tough to find a deck to fit him in, and the ones he fits in are like it's a specific deck. I think it's not. Yeah. He's not. You're not just sitting there like auto include one of this little guys. You need a unique. You'll probably pick the Tickler or that Aliyah, however you say it, over him maybe in that slot, or even Tommen. Right? Tommen's a 2-cost.
Yeah, but Tommen's ability is a bit more even narrower than Lancel's at the moment, I think.
Yeah,
unless you are heavily focused on the intrigue.
Yeah, true. That's a different type of deck too, right?
Another thing that might come up more in the future is the Knight trait. In the box, we also have Daring Rescue, where it helps you bounce a card back to your hand, but a character back to your hand. But it also puts a power on a Knight, so I don't think this is a ideal candidate to hold all your power. But
no. But he does work. He does work good with the Jaime Lannister that's coming in the box because he'll gain renown while attacking alone, right? Because this guy you would attack alone with a lot, right?
That is true. And fortunately or unfortunately, the new Jaime does not have the Lord trait, so he would not act against Lancel.
True. So it's one less Lord you have in your deck, right?
Yeah,
if you replace that Jaime with this Jaime.
One less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Yeah, he's interesting.
Yeah, it's different. I'm sure. As we see more of the box, and as you open the box and you have all the cards in front of you, I bet you'll start realizing there's more places this guy maybe can fit in, and there's more cards that go along with him or make him stand out. But right now, with how I'm looking at how I'm building my Lannister decks right this moment, I look at this guy and I'm like, I don't know, like where does he go in my deck? I'm not taking out a single copy of the Burnman for this guy even.
Yeah, I definitely think it's for new builds.
Yeah, that's why. So I think we'll see more as the cards get spoiled and as we get the box. I think it'll start to shine. This card will shine a little bit more. But right now, it's a kind of interesting card, like you say. But it's not something I'm super excited. Can't wait to rip open the pack and start throwing this guy in decks. Right.
Right, and he might also work well with jumpers if you have him in play, and then you're able to I Never Bet Against My Family or Hear Me Roar single other Lord or Lady into play.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it's got potential.
Here's my mountain. Boom. He's now 10 strength. I win.
Here comes Lancel on his favorite intrigue challenge.
Or that, yeah. All right. Well, we can talk about this a little more at the end after we go over our next spoiler card, which I will get to right here. It is a 3-cost Lannister attachment. It is Shield of Lannisport. It's unique. It's also a title. It has a restriction, can only be attached to a Lannister Lord or Lady character only. And while you control no Lord or Lady characters with printed cost 4 or higher other than attached character gains +2 strength and gains renown, and it has a +1 gold bonus on it. And it's also loyal, if I did not mention that. So I think this card is interesting. I look at it right away and I see 3 cost attachment, and I start thinking of the stand. Why can't I think of it right now? Hand of the King. Seal the Hand.
Yep.
And then the Stark kill attachment, which isn't coming to my mind either. Ice, that's it. So I started thinking of those kind of effects, and then I look at this one for 3 cost, and I'm thinking it's restrictive. It goes on my Lord and Lady character only. So I'm thinking it's got to be a big character because it mentions this 4 cost or higher on it.
Yep.
And I'm going to make that character even more strong and gain renown. And it's also got a +1 gold bonus. So it can make a mediocre character better or a bigger character even better. But it's got that whole no other Lord or Lady thing. So it could be the same kind of deck as the last card. Kevin, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it would definitely fit in a similar space as Lancel would go in. So you'll notice 3 of the characters in the box upcoming that are large and don't have renown are Tywin, Cersei, and Tyrion. Yeah, Tywin, Cersei, and Tyrion. So this would fit on all of them fine, granting them renown and also the buff to strength. And the cost is, it is big at first, but obviously it kind of recoups itself later on.
True, and fealty could help offset it a bit too, right? As it is loyal, so it's another loyal card you can jam in those fealty decks just to help you out.
Yeah.
And it's non-limited economy, so I mean, if you get an early game and get it going, I mean, it's the world's your oyster.
Yes. Yes, it would be. But yeah, it's definitely interesting if you were playing a Clansman deck and threw this on the new Tyrion. That would make him a good body rather than his 5 strength. And then he can get work done as well as his ability.
Yeah. And it's just like the last card. It's another card that you sit there when you're in the deck building phase and you're just, you gotta build. This goes in a certain type of deck. It's restrictive, and you gotta build around it. Not around it, but it's it goes in a certain type of deck. So you're thinking of this when you're building the deck. It's not just throw it in any Lannister deck. That's for sure.
Right. And the unfortunate part about this card is that non-Lannister lords and ladies work against it. So Littlefingers, Varys, anything you're bannering will also count against that.
Yeah. So this most likely would not go in a deck that runs Noble Cause, I would assume.
Most likely not, correct.
So if you have Noble Cause in your deck, don't put this in.
Yeah,
or you're doing something wrong.
you can banner Stark as long as you don't put in Facility.
The other thing is, like with all positive attachments, they're always great against Greyjoy, I think. So
yes, of course.
That has that going for it. If you stop playing all those Milk of the Poppies and other negative attachments in your deck, this could replace one of those and become a positive attachment. And if the meta starts swinging that way and people start needing to run more positive attachments, here's another option, I guess. But yeah, another one I think the cards in the box might... You already said a few of the big ones that we already know are spoiled that this goes on. So I think we already know that this card goes with this future type of Lannister deck we've been talking about.
Yeah, now that we're at the place we are now, I think there's only one missing Lannister character above cost 4. So if that is a Lord or Lady, it could go there as well.
Okay. So overall, we'll talk about both cards together here. Any final thoughts on the cards?
No, not specifically.
Okay, but they definitely kind of go in the same deck most likely, right?
Yeah,
Just
I think
based on their restriction.
While people are playing around with the Clansman thing, I think both of these will find a spot, at least initially, for testing them out.
And my initial impressions when I saw them, I was thinking that with all the complaints about the big dude decks, that's the way the game's going, is everyone just jamming as many, high cost characters, which are sometimes lords and ladies, those kind of builds. This was them giving us cards to make me not want to do that,
right.
To kind of build a deck around one character, maybe 2 bigger characters, and then throw in, I guess the Klansman theme would be a good thing, or some other theme besides lords and ladies. And they're trying to get me to build that way, but if it weakens my deck, I don't know if I'll go that route, but it's definitely something to experiment with, and I'm excited to see the new cards in the box to prove me wrong and make me want to play these cards more than I am right now.
Yeah, definitely a good way to force people to think differently when they're building their decks rather than just go with the classic
Yep, and that's what I think the house expansion boxes like this one are meant to do. They're meant to give you some other avenues of building for a faction and kind of spread it out. So when you sit across from a Lannister deck in this case, and even when you see the agenda, it could be one of two builds, you know, or one of three builds
Right.
based on the options.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Kevin, for joining me, and
You're welcome.
thanks everyone for supporting the channel. And thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can hit the subscribe button below. That's free, and it always helps us out here. And if you want to support the channel with a donation, you can do that on patreon.com/Rob's Gaming Table. And as always, I'd love to hear what you guys think about these cards. So feel free to leave down below in the comments your thoughts on both of these cards. Are they good? Are they bad? Would you put them in decks? Let me know why. I'm always curious. I love to hear it. And thanks for the feedback. Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.